Hey, welcome back to another episode of Business Learning Lab, where myself and Meredith share our business mistakes, failures, missteps, and bad decisions in an effort to hopefully save you from making those mistakes. Can't guarantee it, but the lessons were very expensive, so we might as well share them. And because we're as almost lifetime entrepreneurs, we learn lessons every day. So today we're talking about the mindset of the bootstrapping business owner, breaking the mindset of the bootstrapping entrepreneur, business owner, I should say. And Meredith, why is this an important topic?
Well, it came up because we were talking about how there's this transition point. Most of us, when we start businesses, we're doing it ourselves. We're, self-funding, and we're doing all the things, we're all the roles, and that's fine. That's how we started Spirit. That's how we've started all of our other companies. And that's the name of the game if you're going to, take that approach. But there's always this moment when you have to start transitioning out of being the employee and the manager and the CEO and every, little piece, your own IT and your own everything, into being the CEO and letting go and delegating and building a team. And whether you're delegating to automation, you're delegating to vendors like expertise, hiring accountants or website designers, or delegating to an actual team, there's this moment where you have to be conscious and say, that's not worth my time. I'm not doing it. Even though I used to do it, even though technically I could do it, I could learn how to fix my website. I could learn how to, be a graphic designer so I can, create all my own graphics and build my own website. But does it make sense at that point in your entrepreneurial journey, in your business evolution? It might not. And so that's what we realized, that, and we both went through this, and we had each other to sort of check each other. It's so much easier to see it in someone else and say, I think you're past that. I think you can do it. So we checked each other a lot in the early days of Sparent. When we come out and say, Jen, you need to delegate that. Like, do you need to be working on that? Or can we delegate it? And of course, we have a huge talent pool of Sparents, like right at our fingertips. But we see it in other people, and I have another company I'm the sole CEO, and I catch myself even years in, even with all the talking that we do at Sparent about CEO life and how to make that transition. I catch myself doing things I don't need to do, things that could be outsourced.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been a bootstrapping business owner. I admire bootstrapping business owners. I prefer bootstrapping over getting investor money and that sort of thing. But you're right. There comes a time where the bootstrapping, where you're wearing all the hats and playing all the roles in your business, stops working. And I think it comes down to resources. So in the beginning, bootstrapping business owners have one resource, and that is their time and their knowledge and their drive. What did I say? One resource, and I just named 3 resources. Me.
It's them. That's the resource.
Yeah.
You're your resource.
You are the resource, you and your time and your knowledge and your drive. But as your business grows, and typically I see this happening in like year 2 of your business, right? This is when your revenue resource is now catching up or surpassing your time resource. And it doesn't have to be measured precisely. You'll know it because this is when you're working longer hours, you're maybe exhausted, stressed. At the worst of it, you're starting to maybe drop balls. Your customer experience might be suffering because you've got too much on your plate. And eventually you'll get to the point where your business can't even grow anymore because you're at capacity. You can only do so much as one person. So now your time resource is depleted, and hopefully your revenue resource is up. So now, let's take advantage of our resources. It's time to delegate. It's time to get help. It's time to focus more on being a CEO. And a lot of it is really understanding your role in the company. What does a CEO do? What does a CEO not do? And the good news is you need to be doing, I say this all the time, you have to do less to accomplish more.
Yes.
It feels and seems counterintuitive because we've been told all about the hustle culture, like
Mhm.
work harder than everybody else for your dreams, like hustle more, sleep less,
Yep.
sacrifice
Everything.
everything for success, sacrifice your health, sacrifice um, your mental health and your physical health, your time with family and friends, hobbies,
Mhm.
sacrifice it all. It's the only way to achieve success. And it's a lie.
It
It
is
is such
complete.
a lie.
It is. And it's also, again, especially with that hustle culture, if you accept that that's part of building your company, it gets really hard. It becomes a habit. It becomes, you start to feel weird if you work less. And so that's one of the big dangers. You buy into this notion of this hustle culture, and you're working a million hours, and you're, skipping stuff, and you're not sleeping because you're working after the kids go to bed or whatever it is. And it just becomes a way of life. And so you don't even notice when you don't have to do that anymore, when your revenue has gone to a place where you can outsource, or where the needs of the company have just exceeded what you alone can do. Because as we've talked about on other platforms, and we talk about a lot, you have your own zone of genius, you have your zone of excellence. And yeah, we all start off sort of bootstrapping and we're going outside of that, but as much as possible, you need to get inside your zone of genius. And so if you're doing everything, you're working a million hours, you're absolutely going to end up working outside of your zone of genius and outside your zone of excellence. And it's not going to be the best use of your time. It's not going to yield the best results. And so starting out, so what we've learned in retrospect is that, and what we applied with Spirit, because we had learned it on our other companies, is you start from day one with the knowledge, with the mindset that you will not be bootstrapping forever, that the goal is to start delegating, to start building a team as soon as possible. And so you stay alert and you stay vigilant for when that time has come. And so that is part of, because that also allows you to grow. If you're spending all of your time bootstrapping, you're 2 years, 3 years in, you've got all this stuff going on, and you're still in there every day, running the day to day, doing the minutia, you're not looking forward. There's no time left for forecasting, for steering around potential pitfalls, for taking advantage of upcoming opportunities, all that kind of stuff. And you don't even know, your head down the whole time, just chugging along. And it starts to feel like, and I think we hear this a lot, like, well, I can't afford to bring on anyone because I'm just barely making it. Well, because you're doing all the things in your head down in your business. You're not looking up and saying, how can I make this more efficient? How can I reduce my costs in this so that I can? How can I do more of what I'm doing so that the volume increases, that increases the revenue? Well, doing more means having help.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to understand that you at some point need to duplicate yourself. Cloning humans is not really possible, but you can duplicate yourself by hiring and expanding your team. And Meredith, you're so right. Like sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees. You convince yourself you can't afford it. I was there at my first business. You know this. I bootstrapped the heck out of that business, and I worked when I was sick. I worked when I was tired, and I thought it never really, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about hiring people because I thought, well, this is all my money. This is all
Mhm.
my money. I get to keep the money. With expenses, I was making about 80 cents on the dollar, but I had topped out. I was at capacity at just about six figures, like low, like just crossing that 100,000 mark, barely on my own. But that meant to get there, I was working 7 days a week,
Mhm.
and wait, like 80 plus hours a week, easy, no break, no vacation. And when I like counted up on my hours, I was making like minimum wage. And then I had no life. I was miserable. I resented my business. I didn't see a way out immediately, but at some point there comes a reckoning where you're like, I'm either going to throw in the towel or I'm going to figure this out. And that's when I realized that, yeah, I'm bringing home 75, 80 cents on the dollar. But if I hire somebody, I'm going to bring in maybe 50 cents on the dollar once I pay, payroll and taxes and all that. But I'm going to be able to make unlimited dollars because my limitations are only going to be um, depending on the size of my team and the success of my marketing efforts. So so that's what I did. I fired myself from everything until I had a healthy team that ran the show. I had managers. I went from working 80-hour weeks to working like 15, 20-hour weeks if I wanted to. I didn't even have to. I was like, I have to do something. So I go into the office, but everything was handled. I took home a salary. My company was much more profitable. My revenue went, to 7 figures eventually. It was a process. It didn't happen overnight, but oh my gosh, if I had not done that, I think my entrepreneurial life would have ended, and that would have been sad. I would not have impacted as many people as I did. I wouldn't have provided as many jobs, revenue to my community. Um, it would have been an entirely, almost a wasted experience.
Yeah, exactly. And it really all comes down to that mindset, to understand that you have to let go, that there's a time to let go of doing everything, of getting, 80 cents on every dollar, but only having a certain number of dollars versus taking 50 or 40 cents or whatever on the dollar, but having 7 times as many dollars. Like, do the math. It works out in your advantage. Plus, generally speaking, you have a better lifestyle and a better, work-life balance. So that's a lesson we've learned the hard way, and hopefully this brings attention to someone else who is in that phase, in the sort of hating life and wondering why
Yeah.
you ever thought it'd be a good idea to run a company.
Yeah. If you followed out of love of your business, that's probably why. Please come talk to us. You can schedule a call. We're, no obligation. We love helping other women business owners, particularly. I, credit entrepreneurship to my financial independence, my pure joy in life, circumventing sexism in the workplace, all sorts of things.
Yes.
So I love to see other women take back, financial independence and control and time freedom through entrepreneurship. It is simple, but it is not easy. I will say that. But believe me, you can do it. I started my first company when I was 19. I knew nothing about business, life. I was, I knew nothing. I knew nothing. And if I could do it, I'm convinced anybody can run a successful business if they adopt these principles. And do not listen to hustle culture. Do not listen to people that say, oh, you don't want to hire because you don't want to manage people. I never had more freedom than when I had, a team of like 40, 50 employees. I had the most freedom.
Absolutely.
I wasn't spending my time managing people because I learned how to put systems and processes and SOPs in place. So it really is freedom. Don't let people tell you that this is their fear talking. This is their fear talking. So it is totally doable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right. That's our time, I think.
Oh, wow, that went fast. Please, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to yet another channel, I guess, on YouTube. And if you'd subscribe to ours, please comment. We would love some engagement. We'd love to hear your entrepreneurial lessons. If there's anything you want us to talk about, we're open to it. And we also have a monthly lunch and earn that is open to anybody. You do have to register on Zoom, but you can find it on our website. There's a link there for you. We made it super easy. It is the third Thursday of every month. It's a knowledge share. Fourth Thursday? I always get it wrong. Fourth Thursday of every month. It's a knowledge share, networking, and referral friendly coming together of women business owners. So please join us.
Yes.
Okay.
Till next week. Bye.
Bye.